a star in the nighttime. I'ma go hard when it's my time. Yeah, I'm hard and I'm light. You know you can't pause when the time's right. Sitting in the stars and watching you. You gotta ride the tug away.
Good evening and welcome to Chatbox with Sam on Season 3. Today's guest is actress and writer and acting coach Tanya Linette Smith. Good evening, Tanya. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you very much. Considering.
Oh, I know, considering. Well, you look great, so I guess so. You have to just suffer it, but you look good.
Thank you. Yes,
welcome.
welcome to the show. I'm very honoured that you accepted. So I know you've been in the industry for a long time and you've been in quite a few productions, TV series.
Yeah, so I wrote a film called Becoming Bethany Rhodes, and the working title was The Audition, and then it became Becoming Bethany Rhodes. So that was fun. But yeah, it was The Audition at first. But there's so many movies named The Audition that we were up against. I was like, we've got to change this name. So I got to write and direct that, and the recurring I wrote, but I did not direct. So it's definitely a different experience.
It was. It was a good storyline, though. It's overbearing mother, and then obviously a daughter wanted to escape that and become in her own light, right?
Yeah, you know, the part of what I do as an acting coach is I'll have clients sometimes come to me and ask me to write things for them, whether it's for a short or if it's an original scene or a monologue or something that they're going to showcase. And so I'll write that. And this actress came to me, Gwen Gottlieb. She wanted a story about a complex mother and daughter relationship with the film being character driven. And so that's what kind of came out of it. I was just do. We were on the plane one day and I was like, okay, I'll write. And then there we go.
Right. Would you like to share with the audience what inspired you into this career and about your role in the recurring?
So, you know, it's kind of like we all change in our lives and the different things that we do. I remember I only wanted to act. Just wanted to be an actress, never wanted to do anything else. And so all going through school, I would be in all the little plays. And then, me and my friends, we would put on little shows for parents, just stuff like that, right? So it's always what I wanted to do. And then as I got older, it stopped I just wanted to do it for fun. It was never really a career. And then as I got older and I realized, wow, this is really what I wanted to do. And I was progressing through there, booking little shows like 90210 was like my first like popular show. Things like that, Grey's Anatomy, fun like that. I got to work on different films along the way, theater productions, things like that. And then what had happened was I became an acting coach. And the way that I became an acting coach, you always hear that funny saying, I don't even know if I remember this saying, like, those who can't do, teach. I've heard that. And I'm like,
Oh, I've heard that.
I was like, that's such a crappy thing to say to someone. Like, I can do it. I'm like, that's so mean, right? But I love being an acting coach. Being an acting coach far surpasses anything I've ever felt being an actress. I mean, it is such an incredible experience to watch people really grow and blossom and find it like, oh my gosh. Because that's what led me to writing. Because I wrote before, but I wasn't serious about it. But when I became an acting coach, I had to sort of make a choice because I was so busy coaching and I was busy with acting and auditioning and all that stuff. I had to say to myself, do I want to do both and go crazy, or do I love one more? And I loved coaching more. And so what happened is, as I've been coaching, I wrote the recurring for a client of mine. And it was funny, the role of the doctor, I'm in it. I didn't want to be in it. I was like, I don't want to be in this. You be in it. And
Not me.
I was like, I don't want to do this. I stopped doing it. I'm behind the camera. Don't look at me, right? But she felt, because I was her coach, she just felt more comfortable with me being in it. And so then I wound up being in it. And we got to work off of each other. And it was just fun. And that's what led to it. And the story deals with trauma and abuse, and it was crazy filming horror. I mean, I mean, horror is not scary when you're filming it, but when they add the music and the special effects
Oh
and the sound,
yes.
that's what makes it scary. It
It,
was awesome. I loved it. I mean, I loved it. I loved coaching and I loved being a part of the recurring and I loved writing it. And it was just such a cool experience.
yeah, it is. And you're so right about the music because you always know the intensity. Get out of there. Don't go towards the door. Don't go
Yeah.
down to the cellar or the basement. What
Yeah,
are you
never.
thinking?
What are you thinking?
My car keys would be in my hand and I'd be out of there. The movie would be over.
Oh my God, totally. And it's so funny. I always make fun of people, like when it's a horror film, and I'm like,
Right?
what do you leave, right?
I
But it's
know.
funny when you're writing it, you have to write into the
Yeah.
cliche because or else the movie would be over.
Be over.
Like my character goes to investigate, and I'm like, oh wait, why am I investigating? So yeah,
I know. that's
fun
that's absolutely awesome. No, and I think with coaching, you're giving people the tools. People that are new in the industry or people that want a refresher, it makes a huge difference. And you've got that background behind you because you have the experience of behind the camera, So and writing, so. When you have all that experience, you're the best one to teach, really, because you've seen it from all angles. So I think it's
I
really
love
good.
it.
And everybody needs teachers. Everybody.
Everyone needs
I mean,
teachers.
there's not a lot of
Like,
people that can be in the industry and say that have had no acting classes. Like my son wants to be an actor. He needs classes. I said, there's no way I'm throwing you in a lion's den with no classes. You need
yeah.
to learn the skills. And you can only do that by being coached, by having an acting
Right.
coach.
I have people that I have to sign paperwork, so I cannot say who they are, right? And so you sign they don't want people. Not everyone is like that, but I definitely do have clients that they don't want people to know that they're getting coached for whatever reason.
Right,
You know what I mean? But these are people that are established that are getting coaches. And
right,
so when people that are just up and coming and they're just learning, there's nothing wrong with having a coach and going into a class, any
right.
class, like just to really learn and to get experience. It's being in school always.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's a good refresher too. Even if you've been, there's new techniques or there's a new perspective of looking at things. So I think it's fantastic. If you were going to inspire the younger generation, what would be the main focus?
The main focus. I'm so about having people need to create their own content and they need to tell their stories. Now, it doesn't have to be their personal journey through life, but what are they passionate about? Like, what are you passionate about? You have to create that. And especially if we're talking about actors and what this younger generation of actors are doing, we live in such a funky time right now. I mean, it's so funky. Your views and your issues and the things that you believe in, they're right at the front, right?
Right,
So if you have something that you're standing for and you want other people to come on board or you want to teach people about things that aren't being looked at, if you want to move that lens in that direction, create your own content.
right,
Change the world. Change the way that people look at certain things because you have a camera, you have a phone. You have a phone, you can shoot an entire movie on your phone. There's no reason to not create your own content. So I guess that's what I would say to people right now, more than at any time in the world. If you have something that you're passionate about, that you believe in, start with that.
right.
Tell that story. It doesn't have to be about acting. It doesn't have to be about, anything fantasy. It could just be about a subject that you care a lot about. It could be about like I love my grandmother. My grandmother is amazing. And my grandmother has now transitioned in her life where she has to be in an assisted living home. And I want to talk to people and tell the world about how she's being treated and how all seniors are being treated. That's the story that you write. You know,
Oh,
that's the
that's
story that you write.
that's awesome. Thank you.
You're
Because the
welcome.
younger generation do need advice, and that's why I always ask that question because someone's listening and the youth need some guidance. So thank you for sharing that. That was a very good answer. How has music influenced your life?
Music. I use it in everything. I mean, when
Yeah.
I teach my classes, so I'm kind of a weird teacher. Well, I have a really bad potty mouth. So like I even for our interview, I have a post-it over here that says "Don't curse," right? Because I'm such a bad.
I don't censor. I've had a lot of
You
people
don't? Oh
cursing on my
gosh.
show.
Don't look at Tanya. So the reason that I say that is music is very it makes you feel things. You know what I
Right.
mean? You could be in a perfectly good mood and then some song comes on, some really like guttural song, then you're in a bad mood. You
Right.
could be feeling really like ugly or whatever, and then a song comes on that uplifts you, like anything Lizzo plays, gonna
Right.
uplift you, right? So I use that in my classes. So let's say I have a
Awesome.
scene, yeah, I have a scene going up, and I call scenes conversations because I try to get it away from the technical world as much as possible.
Right.
Like we're having a conversation, and I'll add music to it and things that are going on to help the actors. It sort of tricks them, it tricks
Oh,
them
wow.
in the moment because I'm setting up the feeling that they need to
Right.
have on set. They're not going to play music for them.
That's awesome. I haven't heard of that before. But I think
Yeah.
that's fantastic because because music, brings emotions. So I think, and we need them in film. So that's awesome. Do you find it makes a difference? They do react to the music then.
Oh yeah. Yeah, instantly because the thing with acting is like, we make it look easier. It's all smoke and mirrors, right?
Right.
You don't realize, okay, like right now, I'm giving you an example and we'll talk about music. I'm in my studio, right?
Right.
My little home studio, my COVID studio, right? I'm having you see only what I want you to see.
Right.
If I turn that camera a little bit, you're gonna see like my laundry line, what my bra hangs on, all sorts of weird shit, right? You're gonna see stuff I don't want you to see.
Yeah, you're gonna see my bed and
Yeah,
my
yeah,
the
half eaten this.
my dressing gown that I've just
My
took
dressing
off.
gown. You're gonna see all sorts of stuff, right? So it's the same thing with music. I tell actors,
So can I ask you, Tanya, what's your personal go-to of music that you like to listen to when you're on your own or in your car driving home?
let's see. Well, every morning I listen to Ella Fitzgerald. So that's every single morning when I get up, I'm feeding my dogs, I'm doing that stuff. It brightens me up. So I always listen to that every single morning. And then throughout the day, I'm usually listening to music to prepare for a class.
Right.
So, like a lot of alternative, like I love alternative music, so I listen to that. But lately, I've been listening to who have I been listening to more and more? You know what I went back to listening to is Lady Gaga. I've been
Oh,
listening to
really?
her.
She's awesome.
She's awesome. I've been listening to her a lot lately, and I love The Neighborhood. I love the Plain White Tees. I love them. It's
Right.
probably my favorite right now. That's all on my playlist right now.
That was a good song that Lady Gaga sang with that film that you just mentioned,
Oh, Star is Born,
Star is Born.
the remake of it. Yeah,
Yes, I mean every single make of that has been fantastic and
Bradley
very.
Cooper.
Yes, she played such a so hot.
Good.
Yeah,
He's so hot.
he's so hot. Hi, Brad.
Brad, here we are.
Oh, we're only joking, Brad. Don't know you. Probably never will get to know you now after this. But there you go.
I'm calling him right now. Brad, hey,
We want a song. We want a duet. So yeah, so that was very funny. This interview is actually awesome. But this is how I like to interview: down to earth, off the wall. Love Barbara Walters. Wish I could be in her, not in her shoes because she had to fight for what she had. But yeah, I love this. So, is there anything when you were a child that made you think you were going to be in the industry when you were older? Did you have that feeling when you were young?
So yeah, my mother brought me to see Grease on Broadway. And when I was a little kid sitting there watching Grease on Broadway, I had the biggest crush on like Danny, right? So I had the biggest crush on the lead actor, Danny, whoever played Danny. And I was like, well, how am I going to get to like marry him? I'm going to have to be an actor so that I can do this. And that's what I'll have to do. So the goal was a little kid just so I can meet Danny and marry him.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I stayed in the business because my life, like growing up, was so difficult. It was so, so hard. and being part of the theater group or theater class at school basically saved my life. It just
Oh,
saved my life, and got me away from the crap that was going on in my life. Because in
right.
order to stay in the theater class, you have to have a C average and you have to come to school. And if I didn't have that, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be here today. You know what I mean?
Oh,
My
it
life would be
saved
very
you.
different. Yeah, it did
Yeah.
save me. I think it saves a lot of people. I think that's why a lot of people do get into it.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, there's quite a lot that have had difficult childhoods, and there's always something I feel that's like a healing tool or like a light to a guiding light to help you stay focused in where you should be rather than where you shouldn't be.
Right.
That a
Exactly.
lot of us are lucky enough to have that. Unfortunately, sometimes that isn't the case with some children, in the system and stuff. But so yeah, and that brings me to caring about you, like you when you answered the question, how would you inspire the younger generation? The same question would be like, how would you refocus a troubled child?
Mm. Well, it's part of the reason why I do what I do. And if I when I'm coaching an actor, I need them to be good. And that's my goal. And it's not just, oh, be good to be famous. It's like, no, you have to be good and you have to be authentic and you have to be believable. Because one day, let's say, for instance, you're going to be in a film and you're the mother of a child that's being abused, right?
Right,
Say molested by their father.
right,
And this child is going through this horrible thing. Well, now I if the actor who's playing the role is so believable, then there might be a little girl or a little boy in the back of that movie theater watching this movie, all right, and saying, "Well, look at the lead actor. She told somebody and that person helped them, so maybe now I can too."
ah,
So I think it's a great responsibility that we have as artists because we have to be believable to tell stories that change people's lives and change the world.
right.
So
That's
that's what I think.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. You just warmed my heart when you said that. I got goosebumps. I'm a goosebumps. No, because it's true. That's like verbal affirmation, and they hear that and they feel encouraged by it, and then they do the same. They speak up.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a good influencer, TV and film. So, it influences, gives people a voice. So I think that's great. Thank you for sharing that. So about all the charities there are in the world, Tanya, which one would you choose to advocate for and why?
Well, I'm a vegan, and so anything vegan, I support. I donate to certain organizations. Be, I just really believe in it. I believe in animal rights and what they stand for. I believe in the vegan culture. So that's probably the big one for me.
Right.
Yeah. Animals above. God, I wish I knew this at a time. I would have the whole list out for you. You know, PETA is a super popular one. Everybody
Right.
knows PETA. They
Yes.
definitely got their money. They got their nose in things. That's always like a nice go-to. I like the organization. I do donate to them. I also donate to Animals Without Borders. I also donate to them. God, there's so many. There's
Oh,
international ones. If you could Google, you could just Google it and find any animal charity that you want to donate to.
do.
That's what my thing is. I just started speaking with someone who's starting a nonprofit, and so this is like just in the works, and I want to start working with them, and it's how to make veganism easier for people because there's so many myths out there.
Right.
And there's a lot of things that people just don't know. Like I didn't know. I mean, I was vegetarian forever, and then I became vegan when I found out some things I didn't know, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
Right.
And it
Yeah.
made it so simple for me to become a vegan. It was like so simple because of the information that I learned.
Got
But
ya.
not everybody, knows the information. So,
And plus, when you go to a restaurant, not a lot of them cater for that. So
yeah.
so, I mean, there is some, but there isn't, because my friend is vegan too. She's, she and we went away and we were just in Florida, and she's totally, she never used to be, but she's totally vegetarian now. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and
It's a challenge. You have to it's not that difficult. You just have to be mindful. Your
Yeah.
day just going through McDonald's, quick little drive-through.
Oh,
at
yeah,
Starbucks,
no.
those days are it's not quick anymore.
Yeah, I wouldn't, I don't want to do that anyway. No, not even for a milkshake. All the boys in the yard get, yeah, no, you can even keep your milkshakes. I've bought my son a NutriBullet, and we do all the, I mean, we do drink milk and stuff, so we do a lot of our own smoothies and stuff. So you own animals, did you adopt them?
Yeah. It wound up being that people for some reason abandon animals with me.
Yeah. Oh,
And I don't know if the word is out. I don't know what happened. But like my last dog, 'cause I have a lot of dogs. My last dog, I was driving and I happened to be not texting and driving that day. And I looked off to the side and there was one of those big dumpsters. And I saw a leash hanging out. What is that? So I like parked over, looked, dog was in there.
no.
Poop and electrical equipment, leash everywhere, tied up in there. She's a senior.
Oh,
I took her, obviously. No chip, no collar, nothing. Oh, it had a collar, but like a Ranky collar, but no name tag. So I was like, well, she must be someone's. Put signs, nobody wanted her, and she's a senior, and she's a money pit. But
oh,
like, I love her so much.
yeah.
That's how it happens. And someone else almost came my way too. I was like, no, 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 no. It was this little tiny little Chihuahua mix, like totally cute. And I got someone else to foster that dog until we can find an owner. So
Right. Oh,
it
well,
keeps showing.
I adopted my dog too, because there was three of them. They're throwing them in the rice fields, especially pit bulls, in the rice fields in Marysville. So a fighter found my Zeus and two other puppies, and he's a pit bull boxer mix, and the other two looked like boxers, and he looked more like pit bull. Well, I became instantly protective because they use them for bait and and stuff like that. People pit bulls, so I chose him and I called him Zeus Moses, and he's 2.5 now.
Oh,
Actually, he's 3 in July. Yeah, I've had him 3 years, and he sleeps with me. And he was really annoyed that I left for Florida. I came back and and he doesn't usually do this. He's ever such a good boy. He put a hole in the couch. And I was like, Zeus, what did you do? What did
that
you
will show
do?
you.
Don't you
Don't
leave
do
me
it.
again. So if people want to find you on social media, or if you have a website, could you please share with the audience how they can
Yeah.
contact you?
Yeah, so it's just my full name, Tanya Linette Smith. And if you want to find me on Instagram, it's Tanya Linette Smith. If you want to go to my website, it's TanyaLynetteSmith.com. On Facebook, God, I barely go on Facebook. Like I just have I like play with Instagram a lot because like all my clients are so young, and I'm like, "Eh," and then I transfer it over. I think it's like Tanya Linette Smith acting coach or something. I don't know. But Instagram, I'm on Instagram a lot.
Right.
A lot because I talk with so many people on Instagram. So I'm
Yeah.
very active. Like if people DM me, I will respond. You know what I mean?
And I can vouch for that because she responded to me.
I always respond. I do my best. Just
Oh,
getting to know people. So yeah, people, they can find me right on there on Instagram, Tanya Linette Smith, or my website, TanyaLynetteSmith.com.
okay. And have you got any other projects, and where can people find the new project that you've just done, the audition?
Right now, I'm not in production with anything. I'm writing. So I am writing. It will be my first feature. So I've written a lot of shorts and a lot of assignments, or a lot of, I've been commissioned to write for other people. But this will be my first feature that I'm writing with my writing partner, James Orsted. And it's horror, of course. And we're having And it's so much fun writing with a writing partner. I've never done that before, and he's incredible. He's like, you'll like, I'm like, I'm not going to like a writing partner. He's like, yes, you will. I was like, oh, okay. Actually, I really do. So that's what we're working on.
Right.
But other than that, no, nothing in pre-production. Just my classes. I'm doing a lot of fantasy classes.
Right.
I have an immersive class coming up, the whole immersive world where the audience and the actors get to be together in this class. So I'm
Right.
starting that. And that's a small class. That's like half full. That's all I'm doing right now.
Oh, that's nice. Do you do any coaching over Zoom?
Yeah, I do a ton. I was coaching over Zoom before COVID. No one knew what Zoom was. Why I didn't get stuck in Zoom, I don't know. Right? I'm like, why? So I was already on Zoom and it was all right, but then COVID hit and now Zoom's like incredible. There's
Right.
all these things it didn't have. You couldn't have like two people at the same time. It was a mess. But yeah, but I coach a lot over Zoom because I have clients in other countries and stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome. If this was the last time you were ever going to speak, what would you say?
Oh my gosh, that's so big.
Big is beautiful.
I know. I'm gonna sit here for 20 minutes. Like that's the last thing. I mean, I of course, you want to make it profound and stuff, but I guess if it was the last time, I would want to tell my, oh my God, make me cry. I would want to tell my mom I love her. The
Oh,
last thing my mom went through a lot to have me. I mean, we were on the streets. There were times that there was no food. She was in bad relationships, and so I would just always just want my mom to know, like, I love you so much and I'm so grateful for you. That's my, made me cry.
that is beautiful.
That's my big thing.
I know I'm like that too, and that's why I asked the question, because it makes people think. And there's no right or wrong of what anyone says. It's their own. That's the only personal thing I ask, but it's a non-personal question. But it's a question where everyone can answer from their soul and what they feel. And that's why I love that question. I only introduced it a couple of episodes ago, but it seems to make people go, wow.
It is. It's like,
It makes you think of the person that you love the most,
yeah,
doesn't it?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, and she's here right now. I was like,
Hi,
Mom.
Mom.
Yeah. Oh no, she's in the front there in my house.
Oh, is she?
Keeping my dogs. So I'm like, give them food, do whatever you keep them quiet.
Good. We don't mind dogs on here. Dogs, kids, grandpa, squirrels. No, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah,
I
was
would have
like-
cracked at seeing that squirrel running across the floor.
It freaked me out because I was like, is it a rat? I was like, dude, he's
No rats on set.
looking at me right there.
Have you got any last things that you'd like to say to the audience before we say goodnight?
The last thing that I want to say is, I think just something someone told me once a long time ago, and it always stuck with me. I think I was going through a breakup or something, and this man said to me, he said, Tanya, it's all temporary. It's all temporary. And I remember thinking, what? And then I remembered it's all temporary. If you're feeling really bad right now or depressed or down on yourself or like you can't do it, that feeling is going to pass because it's all temporary. Sit with it. I have actors, they're so terrified. And of course, and I get it, it's like such a big career. And everyone is watching you and everyone is judging you. And they're judging you. And you're always out of work, and you're always auditioning. And when you start to get to that place where you're just feeling like, just so icky about yourself, there's someone prettier, smarter, bigger, taller, skinnier, fatter, this, that. Remember that feeling that you have, that feeling that tells you you're not good enough. It's temporary. It's going to go away. It's going to pass. You just got to sit with it. That is the biggest thing. That changed my life completely. It's all just temporary.
You
The
know
good
what?
stuff too. You know?
You know what? That's really good advice. I've never heard it said like that before, temporary. But when you think about it, it is. Because life's temporary too,
It's all temporary. this feeling will pass. If you have a
Right.
crappy feeling, it will pass. If you have a really good feeling and you like it, keep holding on to it.
Yeah.
Keep moving. Keep chasing
Hold on
it.
to the good stuff.
Hold on to the good stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tanya, I'm glad I've got you to. I'm glad you've been on Chatbox with Sam, and I've had a lovely conversation with you. You've been very down to earth. It's been very comfortable. I do have COVID, audience, right now. Tanya's been very kind to still interview with me, and my horsey throat. I don't usually speak like this.
Yeah, she's very sexy now.
I'm doing a civil shepherd. Thank you very much, Tanya Linette Smith, for being on Chatbox with Sam.
I'm a bright star in the nighttime. I'ma go hard when it's my time. Yeah, I'm hard and I'm like, you know you can't